stocks, so to speak. And I made a bet, or I should have made a bet with the anonymous investor that XRP wouldn't eclipse 46 on yesterday.
XRP?
I'm sorry, AMC.
You okay? I know you're sleepy, but
I'm glitching.
Wake up. All right, so let's talk about the mask mandates.
Okay.
Before we get into what happened yesterday, let's talk about the mask mandates. It's a bunch of not mask mandates, but vaccine mandates as well.
Well, it's both. Yeah.
Both. A bunch of big companies, big corporations are mandating that their employees get vaccines now. And also increasing insurance premiums, right?
Yeah, it's one of the airlines.
So Delta was to add $200 monthly health insurance charge for unvaccinated staff. So that was, a mandate is coming. A mandate is here. How does this affect the market, in your opinion?
It's so interesting because, like I said the other day, we're living in uncharted territory, with this pandemic. So, it's unpredictable. I think it'll affect the job market tremendously because of some people's beliefs. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits filed, which if the employees win, of course, it affects the company's bottom line, which in turn affects the market.
Right.
Should these employees get laid off or fired, potentially affecting the job, the job market. So those are the two areas where I see a direct impact coming into the market through lawsuits, which, by the way, is the biggest, known to be one of the biggest ways to wealth.
What, lawsuits?
Yeah, lawsuits.
So long story short, in my opinion, I don't think this affects the stock market at all, or very minimal. I think the stock.
Yeah, I think it'll be minimal.
Yeah, I don't like the stock market and the regular world marketplace is kind of, I don't want to say separate, but those are two different conglomerates, let me say. So I don't really think this affects the stock market. As far as what do you think about airline stocks though? Because this was Delta increasing their premium for health insurance with unvaccinated employees. What do you think about the airline sector right now? And
the airline sector is something that I never looked into this whole time. Over this since I've been into the market, a year plus. But the airline sector is tricky for me because, the infrastructure bill supports the airline sector. So I think that it can be some real opportunity in the airline sector. In fact, I'm gonna do some more. I'm gonna do research. Like I said, I really haven't looked at the airline sector, but I am because quite a bit of money is allotted to.
Do you know how the infrastructure bill specifically affects the airline sector or no?
They got tons of money going towards it.
Yeah.
So, where the money goes.
Right.
Sometimes it's good to follow.
So I'm going to go to Antonio right now for an update on the stock market. It's currently 8:52. The stock market opens in pretty much 38 minutes. So 9:30. Let's get a rundown from Antonio.
AMC is down 2%, knocking on the 3% door. Tesla is down 0.39%. GameStop is down 0.70%. Virgin Galactic is down 0.76%. ChargePoint is down 0.18%. Palantir up 0.49%. Robinhood down 0.82%. The NASDAQ is in the green. S&P 500 is in the red. That's it so far.
Hey, we hearing bloody Thursday.
Again, the forecast is looking a little bit cloudy out here.
Stock market uncertain.
I'm not saying it's raining out here, but it's looking cloudy. The stock market is looking cloudy. So before we get into, I wanted to talk about the weed sector, but before we get into that, let's recap. What's going on in the stock market. What happened yesterday? AMC, GME, the Reddit stocks ran up. Wednesday, what's today? Yeah, Tuesday.
Right.
And then Wednesday, I came in.
Oh no, go ahead.
I came into the office. I said, y'all told me what was going on with AMC pre-market. I said, before we got on live, I said, that's not a good sign. I didn't like the price action. And then obviously you took a bet, or could have took a bet, that it won't go over 46 or end over 46. So I think both our predictions and insight was pretty much correct. They ended in 44 territory, I think, and now they're going down. So how do you see that playing out today?
To be honest, today I see the same.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I also said this yesterday. I said that had to be a margin call. And that's what that's what it just seemed like it was.
Explain what that is when you say a margin call.
A margin call is if they didn't have enough to
collateral.
Right. If they didn't have enough collateral, then they had to buy back those shares that they owed.
So in other words, we're saying that the investors that shortened the AMC stock and borrowed the AMC shares has to put up collateral on margin, meaning they get some credit, a line of credit or whatever.
Right.
So with them not having enough, you're saying without them, they didn't have enough.
Whoever is
the shorts, right? Okay.
Whoever's they didn't have enough
collateral, which means they had to buy back
the
shares that they borrowed.
One thing I want to put emphasis on, it's many days.
Right.
So I think someone specifically got margin called, and we seen a run up. I think
pretty much an institutional investor. Right. So we're talking about big money.
Right. And now I think it's kind of, that's what was the run up. And until we get maybe another margin call, or maybe, more shorts covering, more volume, tons of more volume coming, I think we kind of see again the slow and steady rise of the meme Ape Nation stock, AMC. So let's get into, Antonio, what was your thoughts on how it played out? Because I know you thought it was
rise up.
Yeah, you thought it was going over 47. So what was your thoughts?
I did think it was going to go over 47, but being so used to seeing AMC have these green days and then these red days, kind of like it's normal now.
Right.
So I don't know what to it. Well, of course, it's a red day today, and it seems like it's going to be that way for the market. But Mondays and Fridays are the most interesting days for AMC. I think those days set the tone. Monday set the tone. Well, obviously Monday really can't set the tone for AMC because we see what's going on now. But Fridays are always the most important days for AMC, in particular because of the options.
Okay.
What expires in the money, and that puts like a kind of a stranglehold on the hedge funds and put them in the deeper hole of, failure to deliver, so to say.
Yeah.
So today and tomorrow, let's just see how the price action goes and where we close and see how many calls are in the money. And that can play a role on Monday for AMC.
Right.
So before we get into Tilray, because Antonio just mentioned something I think is rather interesting about today and tomorrow. Jerome Powell speaks tomorrow. Right. And he's talking about, laying out a plan, or the expectancy, from investors is that he would lay out a plan and give us some type of sense of when the tapering will begin, and a plan, so we can better forecast on how to invest our dollars in light of, the inflation and interest rates or whatever.
Right. So was you saying that you think that affects AMC right now?
I think it's affecting it will and is affecting the market today,
Right.
tomorrow. I think that's partly why we may see a red market, pre-market, and possibly throughout the day.
No, I definitely think the market will stay like this until Jerome Powell speaks, and we'll pretty much, let's say we'll break that down more in depth tomorrow's live.
Yeah.
If you're interested in knowing more about the AMC, Reddit stocks, meme stocks, if you will, you can go to our previous live, which was yesterday. We broke down a lot of the information and insight that you would need to know about those stocks specifically. I know we're using a lot of big words like options, failure to deliver, margin calls. We did a more in-depth analysis on yesterday's live.
And also, you can always comment in the comment section. By the way, like, subscribe, and comment to the content if you like the content and education that's being shared.
Okay, so let's hop into it. Tilray. Tilray is a weed stock.
What you think about that sector?
Let me read this headline real quick.
Sorry about that.
Tilray is ticker symbol TLRY. Ticker symbol TLRY. It's a headline from Yahoo Finance. It's an article, but the headline says Tilray is Mad Men the right fit? ? Analyst weighs in. So Tilray invested into a company called Mad Men, ticker symbol MMNFF. They purchased, Tilray along with partners has purchased the optionality on convertible notes for $165.8 million, with Tilray holding 68% of notes/warrants. So Tilray earlier this year merged with Afria.
Which is another marijuana or cannabis stock
that
company.
was specifically in Canada.
Right.
So Tilray is on a mission to basically dominate the weed sector. So what's your thoughts on Tilray specifically in the weed sector at whole?
So my thoughts on the cannabis sector at large is I like it. I think that it's a ton of potential for growth in this sector. What's interesting is cannabis, most people will often think of it as its own industry. However, it's directly tied to the medical sector,
Right.
which gives it an expansion, for growth. Because so much of, pharmaceuticals and the medical world use cannabis, and some of the products that they develop for healing.
Right. So if you had to,
that's my thoughts on the sector, right?
Okay. What's your thoughts on
Tilray? I'm super bullish on it.
Okay, why?
Tilray, number one, because of what we perceive their objective to be, which is to monopolize the cannabis space. And number two, the run-up that it had in, I believe it was February.
Right, February.
Yeah, February. The run-up it had, it currently is sitting at, yesterday when I looked at it, it was at 13, I believe, 17, I think. And I think it went up a few dollars or a couple dollars.
You saying Tilray?
Yeah, what is it trading at today?
It's $13.54.
Oh, 13, okay.
Yeah.
So it was at 13 yesterday. I said 17. I meant 13 yesterday, and it's still there. At its height, it went all the way up to 60.
Yeah, it was
60 plus?
67.
Yeah, 60 plus. Yeah. And I believe that not only will it get back there, it will eclipse there, especially when regulations come into license this entire
So let me give you some
space.
pushback there. I feel as though we keep hearing about if regulations come. I
don't see when. Go ahead.
When? That's my question. When? A lot of people, invest into the weed sector hoping on regulations, and until we get regulations, it's kind of hard to bet on the weed sector.
Not for me.
Why not?
Because when I look at, some of these dispensaries that's been open for medical marijuana,
Right.
I feel like the space is too big or the product itself is too much of a demand for it not to be licensed. I think of it the way we think of, if you think about prohibition, when alcohol was illegal, right? And the gangsters and everybody would, whoever was participating in that underworld was able to make a lot of money off of it.
Right.
And as a result, the IRS seized that particular industry and began to regulate it through taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that with the U.S. and the global market saying that it's an opportunity to increase their bottom line, the global trade, for these mega corporations to increase their bottom line, I think that it's, again, not if, but it's when.
And
before we didn't have, even though it was a need, we didn't have medical, quote unquote, marijuana dispensaries where you can go. We've not only innovated into establishing that. Again, like I said, I think we go further into expanding that marketplace.
Okay, so I'm with you on the long-term outlook on the cannabis sector.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to gauge like if I'm a new investor, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a new investor,
talk to me,
and I'm trying to make money in the next month, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. Should I put my money in something that ain't regulated, and it from a return perspective, right? From a return perspective, do I put my money into something that I may have to wait very, 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 very long to see an outcome as far as regulation? Because once regulation hits, the returns start to set in to me.
So for me, number one, I'm not going to advise an investor to do early investor to do anything. I can tell you what I would or why
I said if you were a young investor.
Oh, if I was a early investor. So it's risk with everything, right? It's no guarantee that whatever you put your money in that you're going to get a return in a month, 3 months, 6 months, right? The market oftentimes is about timing, right? You reap some of your biggest rewards because of timing, right? Timing the market right, based on the research and some of the research and things that you've done. And sometimes it's luck, right? Mm-hmm. But because I look at Tilray I'm looking at Tilray that you can get it at deep discounted prices right now, similar to how I look at the unregulated crypto market.
So, and that's a good point. So, I just want to read off a couple of these weed stocks. So we got Clever, ticker symbol CLVR. Their 52-week high was 1946. Mm-hmm. It's now at $9.88.
You said their 52-week high was what?
1946.
Okay, so we're about 50% retracement.
Right. Remember, Tilray's they're around $13 right now.
Right.
And their 52-week high was $67.
Right.
Let's go to SNDL real quick. SNDL is under $1 now. Mm-hmm. They're at 78 cents, 77 cents, and their 52-week high was $3.96. Mm-hmm. So the weed sector is very speculative, but when it runs, it runs. Mm-hmm. And in February, a lot of young, new, even experienced investors made a ton of money, made a killing, because similar to the crypto market, I'm glad you brought up the crypto market. When crypto runs, it runs in a pack. It's like a wolf pack. When weed runs, it's similar. It runs in a pack. It runs in a wolf pack. So if you're looking to do your research in the weed sector, those are 3 weed stocks that you may want to look into. And the weed sector,
or cannabis.
The cannabis weed sector, however you want to call it, can be very lucrative if your timing is right.
Right. And like I said, for me,
or if you're holding just long term.
Yeah. And for me, cannabis is a long-term play. And what I mean by long-term, we're talking about a year or a year to 3 years. That's the way I'm viewing it. Yeah. And right now you can get them at, I would say dirt cheap prices.
Right.
Dirt cheap discounts.
Right. So I'm glad you brought up crypto. I'm gonna go to Antonio for a crypto rundown in just a second. Let me read this this headline real quick. It's about Facebook ties Novi launch to Diem, may include NFT features. So Facebook ties to Novi launch.
That's their crypto wallet.
Crypto wallet, okay.
Their digital wallet.
Right.
Same thing.
And Diem is their crypto coin that they're coming out with. So this is huge news. We get news every other day, every other day about big institutions moving into the crypto space. If you're not into the crypto space now, it's just, all I can say is it's a ton of opportunity and it's a ton of big money moving this way. Moving this way.
A tsunami is coming.
So again, let me read this headline again. Facebook ties Novi launch to Diem may include NFT features. So before we get into that, before I get your opinion, Antonio gives a crypto rundown.
Bitcoin sitting just above 47,000. Ethereum sitting just above 3,100. XRP is at $1.10. Cardano was at $2.58, and everyone's favorite Dogecoin is at 27 cents.
Okay.
So it seems it's apparent that the crypto market is taking a breather. I said on yesterday, and I'm gonna say the same on today, so everyone understands this about the crypto market. It's inverse to the dollar index. It runs inverse to the dollar index. So in other words, if you see the dollar index trending upward, historically you see crypto trending downward, and vice versa. As you see crypto trending upward, you'll see the dollar index trending downward.
Okay.
So that's a good way to monitor that asset class.
Right. Good insight. So again, what's your thoughts on Facebook is planning to link its launch of their Novi digital wallet to the debut of the digital coin Diem?
I think it's huge.
And may include NFT features.
I think it's huge. This is what I want us to understand about the potential with just this one particular company. Facebook has around 2.5 billion users globally. Think of that number. Think of, at a minimum, if everyone on there spent $1 on the site using its currency or whatever so heavy, that's $2.5 billion. If we spent $1 a day, a week, that would be about $12.5 billion for Facebook. Not including everything else that, they offer. We're just talking about the currency or asset that's there. If you're skeptical about crypto, and you're comfortable in the traditional markets, Facebook is a win.
That's a good point. I said this earlier this week or maybe last week. I was like, if you're not so sure about the crypto market, it's ways you can play the stocks correlated to the crypto market. So you got crypto mining companies that are regular stocks that aren't crypto coins, but regular stocks, and that's a good point as well. If you're not sure about crypto,
you can always invest in a Facebook.
Right, and this is interesting to me. Facebook, do you see Facebook being a true leader in this space? And what I mean by that is, you got Bitcoin, you got Ethereum as the top two right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it being a competitor, or like how do you see them kind of existing with Bitcoin and Ethereum?
That's a great question. I don't think that Facebook. You know what's interesting about Facebook? I don't think that we can. I know your question is a direct one, but I'm gonna come to it. But it's a thought that I have about Facebook that I want to share.
Say your piece.
Facebook is such a huge. It's such a huge opportunity with Facebook because I think of Facebook the way I think. I look at it as a predated Amazon. I feel like they're going in they're following the blueprint that Amazon laid out and dominating the entire sales / supply sector or supply and demand sector. They're turning into a bank or have bank capabilities. You can shop on Facebook for anything you want, the same way or almost anything you want, similar to how you can with Amazon. They're they got a partnership with India to lay out their telecommunications sector. So I think it's unlimited potential now. Getting back to your question, with the incoming blockchain and the regulations, where everything of value will move on the internet of value, I think Facebook has the potential to dominate this space because of its market share of consumer.
Mm-hmm. So do you see it do you know if this will be a limited coin or just unlimited?
I don't know that yet. That's a great question. I think it'll be used as currency, where you can trade or purchase, products on the actual platform using this digital currency, but I don't know how much of the supply is created or exists.
So, as far as this is
whether it's unlimited or a limit.
Right. This is fascinating to me because the stronghold they got on users.
Right.
They got that advantage over pretty much anybody.
Everybody's data.
Right.
So they know what you like. They know what I like. They know what she like. They know what he like.
Right.
And they're able to cater and market the things that we like to us subconsciously.
I got two questions as far as because to me Bitcoin is kind of separate in a way.
I think so. I agree with that.
But if I had to look at a direct competitor, I would look at something like Ethereum.
I agree with that
because they got a certain marketplace to them. If you get what I'm saying.
I agree with that. The only difference is,
obviously, Ethereum doesn't have a social media platform.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
I think of Ethereum more so as something like a Microsoft or IBM where you can develop off of its
right. That's
its software.
Right. That's a good comparison. So again, I see them being more so a direct competitor to Ethereum. Do you see who I don't want to say who wins that battle because I'm not even necessarily sure it's a battle.
Yeah, I think that they serve two different use cases.
Okay, so explain that.
So Ethereum serves more of the business sector or people looking to develop apps, applications and things off of its software / chain, blockchain / platform.
Right.
Facebook is direct consumer. They serve direct to consumer. Not that they don't serve the business marketplace as well. My perspective is Facebook is more of direct to consumer, where Ethereum doesn't really.
Does Facebook? It's kind of hard that they just direct, and I know you're not saying they're just direct to consumer, but I mean a lot of businesses run ads on Facebook. That's not direct to consumer.
But I don't feel like Ethereum is interested in running ads through the Ethereum as much as developing applications.
Right.
And that's the difference. Facebook doesn't offer the ability to develop applications off of its platform.
Okay, now that you make that emphasis,
I think that their target markets are different.
So this was my final question to you. Do you think Facebook should be allowed to make its own crypto?
That's a great question because they stopped them before.
Their first coin was called Libra coin, right?
Right. And they put a halt to it. The lawmakers put a halt to it. Global. They said, whoa.
Right.
We can't give you that type of power.
Right.
And so it set the project back, a year or two or however long it's been.
Right.
They made some adjustments and figured out how to become in compliance and work in the guardrails, so to speak, of the system. And now they're preparing for launch, with their digital wallet. Now that it's been accepted slowly but surely.
Why do you think Libra was X'd out, but Diem is checked in?
My personal opinion, I think it was ahead of its time, in the sense that if the lawmakers would and central banks would have allowed the Libra to do that, it would have took up so much of the market share in the economic system.
Yeah.
And became its own economic giant.
Gotcha.
Really, again, you often hear me talk about the war on centralization and decentralization.
Yeah.
That's really what I perceive the whole holdup to be now with these regulations for the entire crypto asset class in space.
So who do you think is next as far as getting into the crypto space as heavily as Facebook's getting into the crypto space? I'm talking about from a big tech perspective.
Amazon.
Okay, Amazon.
Amazon to create their own coin because again, they got the consumers. So if they create their own digital currency,
right?
Well, it's exclusive to its. That's the power of this big tech that I believe that the government fears. By the way, remember Biden just invited these big tech firms along with banks,
right?
And CEOs of the big tech firms, the banks, as well as the energy sector. That was added. I didn't realize that yesterday. Into the office to come up with some type of solution, preventative solution on cyber attacks moving forward.
Okay, so Antonio, let's get a final rundown and update on what's going on into the marketplace right now.
Everything's still the same. Everything's still in the red. You got AMC at 2.5%. You got GameStop at 0.5%. You got Virgin Galactic knocking on the 1% door. You got ChargePoint at 0.50%. You have Robinhood at 1.50%. You have the Nasdaq in the green. You have the S&P 500 in the green. You have Dogecoin still at 27 cents. You have Ethereum still at 3,100. Bitcoin still just above 47,000, and that's the market for today.
Okay, thank you for the
It's pre-market.
Right, pre-market. Let's before we get out of here, let's talk about Friday. So Friday, Jerome Powell was speaking to the American people.
Shout out Jerome Powell.
Right. So some of the top stories, it says Fed's Powell likely to give few hints on bond buying taper timeline. Okay, let me read another one. It says at Fed's Jackson Hole meeting, Powell unlikely to provide tapering roadmap for investors. So they are kind of two conflicting headlines. But what's your thoughts on the potential tapering, the not so potential tapering, the timeline? All this affects the market drastically.
Right. So my thoughts is, what's the title of our live pre-market debate?
Uncertainty in the market.
That's my perspective. I think, it's interesting because every time he speaks, and whoever the chairman is, the Fed chair throughout the history, most recent, last 2 decades, it's always, great anticipation and uncertainty. Again, I feel like this is no different.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, or my concern is, we've eclipsed, that debt or the repo market been, at the trillion plus consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're living in uncharted times and uncharted territories. I think that everybody would do themselves well to prepare.
Prepare for what?
Prepare for another crash, another market crash.
So let's just go into Friday specifically.
Mm-hmm.
What is the potential message he gives out, and how does it affect the market Friday for the rest of the week? So which would be Friday? I
think my personal opinion is I think that I think we already have it, and it it's kind of showing from my perspective or my opinion.
Yeah,
we'll have money withdrawn from the market. A lot of people, that's their strategy in preparing. You mentioned that's one of your strategies is being liquid. Right. So I think we'll see a pullout of large capital from the market.
Okay, it's getting interesting. It's a lot of uncertainty in the market. It is now 9:26, 4 minutes until the stock market opens. If you like this video, give us a like, give us a comment. Please subscribe. We appreciate your support. This is Datwan. This is LJ. Welcome to the New Age. We out.